Alright, so just to be clear, this isn't going to be a video trashing the game and trying to get people to stop playing because I hate Blizzard or something. And it's not going to be about telling players they suck and they need to uninstall. The whole premise we're looking at here is that there's a lot of players who've been made absolutely miserable by ranked play. And they keep trying to find success with it when they really might not ever have what it takes to get to where they want to be and make themselves happy and feel accomplished for their time. And even then, is the aggravation worth it? So these are the people that I feel really need to just stop playing ranked for the betterment of their mood and their life. So hopefully there's some people that see this and the message resonates with them, and I could just talk some sense into these people because honestly, I just really want to help. And the reasons I'll get into boil down to simply effort versus reward and the realistic outcome. And I have a feeling the majority of you watching this have this thought cross your mind at some point, or maybe it keeps crossing your mind and you tell yourself that, yeah, it's worth the time. I'll keep plugging away at it. I'll make top 500 one day. Or maybe you can't come to a decision and you keep playing in the meantime while this question keeps floating around in your brain. Is all this time and effort worth it? And I'm sure the biggest reason people might begin to ask themselves this question is mainly because of the beast that is aggravation and the typically insane amounts of it that one can experience while playing with 5 other people on your team that you have very little control over, who are usually total strangers, and who you're attempting to gel with enough in a competitive environment with no practice beforehand to win a match and feel good about yourself and your time that you put into it. And more often than not, it's just not a good time. And not only is it not a good time, I'm going to argue that for a lot of you, it's just not worth your time. You should really just stop, move on, and find something more rewarding and less stressful and more positive to do with your free time. And I only say that because most people who play ranked, they want to climb. They're not satisfied with the rank they're at, and they don't believe that they should be in that rank, so they don't get much enjoyment staying there. Now, the main reason I wanted to make this video is because I just really want to help some people out. I really believe that there's too many people playing Overwatch who are stuck in this feedback loop of aggravation, and it's actually turning you into miserable people doing very real harm to your mental state. So let's go more into the very problematic aggravation aspect players have when playing competitive ranked. Players are spinning their wheels over and over, chasing this dream of climbing to the top ranks and one day proving to themselves, and I guess to the world, that they are awesome at Overwatch and they belong in the top 500. And these are people that already have hundreds of hours put into the game. And, they still haven't been able to get out of silver or gold. And they're starting to hate people because they keep getting stuck with garbage teammates. And yes, I do believe that is a legit issue, by the way, to an extent, okay? And I'll come back to that a bit later. But, most of the time they feel everyone else on their team is to blame. Other people are wasting their time. Other people are preventing them from winning and progressing towards their goals. So a lot of players in this situation have, no problem sinking 10 hours a week into the game. And they think, yeah, this is the week that I'm going to climb. I'm going to make the next rank. And, they end up 100 SR lower. So they put even more time into the game next week. And maybe they're up 200 SR. And they get this glimmer of hope and a boost to their confidence, only to end up losing all of their gains the next week, and the process repeats itself over and over. And the player gets more and more fed up with other players, other people, and this very much does, over time, start making the player view people in all aspects of life as stupid, selfish, untrustworthy, just as they feel they are as the people on their team in Overwatch. So I hope you can see how the more time you spend wallowing in a state like this, attributing your failure to other people towards a goal of yours which you place so highly in life that you're willing to sink hundreds or thousands of hours into attaining, is just going to ruin your outlook on people. And what else could you say? But it's not good. I don't know how else to really make that likely outcome feel more impactful to you. If you start to develop a general dislike for people because so much of your interaction with people is based around these constant negative experiences with them in a video game, and you feel they're holding you back from your personal quest for glory, then that's just very sad and something I think any rational person would agree isn't worth it. But look, you need to realize it's not only other people that's holding you back. Your skill over time, likely a long time, is always going to be the main deciding factor on your success. Yes, it can and will absolutely be impeded by teammates who are bad and seem to not deserve to be in the rank they're in, but many streamers have proven that they can solo queue climb the GM multiple times across various different heroes. But, and here's where the big caveat comes into play, these players have crazy natural skills, whether it be with aiming or understanding the flow of the game, or skill in shot calling and getting their team to follow their lead with strategies. These are all different ways in which a player can excel and use to find success in their climb. And it also didn't take these players hundreds or thousands of hours to realize this, or to get their ranks. So if you're still in gold or silver after hundreds of hours, the fact is that you have to face the reality that this is likely it for you, and you're going to be floating around the SR range for the rest of your days playing Overwatch. You have to remember that everyone else playing the game is also getting better the more they play. So you may be getting better, but so is everyone else. And if you're not better at getting better, and by the way, that comes in the form of not only getting better at aiming, but it also means putting more hours into one single hero and truly learning the ins and outs of what that hero can bring to the table across various team compositions, specific maps, ult combos, and also just communication with your team, positioning. If you can't do all of that better than the people you're playing against, then you're not going to climb, and you're going to disappoint yourself and get mad over something that is realistically unobtainable. Look, at some point, unless you want to drive yourself absolutely nuts, you really have to be okay with the rank you're at in competitive. You have to find the fun just in the experience of playing Overwatch, regardless of what happens. Whether you win or lose after spending 20 minutes in a match, regardless of throwers, leavers, legitimately bad teammates, disconnections, and even mistakes on your own part that can end up turning a 20-minute game into what you view as wasted time because you lost. You have to find just simply playing Overwatch to have been a fun use of your time. If you can't do that, then you really need to find the willpower to get yourself to stop playing ranked for the sake of your own sanity. So let's move on from that and let's talk about numbers and time involvement needed to reach your goals. As of now, the number 500 tank has 322 hours played across all seasons, and they started at 2,500 in Season 6. The number 1 tank right now is professional player Choi Hoban. He has 1,562 hours, but they've been at least 4,000 SR since Season 2. And for this current season, he has an 84% win rate on Sigma, and he's only got 5 hours on him. So that's an example of the cream of the crop with natural talent who likely realize very early on that they're going to be damn good at this game. The player Architect is the top in damage right now. He has over 1,100 hours on that account and a 65% win rate on Doomfist. So what does this mean for you? Well, let's just assume that you're actually someone that can relate to everything I've been saying so far. Let's say you're 2,000 SR and you want to hit 3K. So you got to gain 1,000 SR. Now let's say you have an average win rate of 60%. And if you're a good player and you've been playing this game for hundreds of hours, then you should indeed have a 60% win rate. I think 60% is just a realistic bare minimum for what you would consider being good at a certain hero. So each win in competitive usually gets you an average of about 25 SR. And let's say each game takes up an average of about 15 minutes. So you need 40 wins to get 1,000 SR. That's 10 hours of time purely put into games which you win at 15 minutes each. But you're only winning 60% of your games, which bumps up the hours to near 17 hours of total playtime. And that's for a 60% win rate. So if you're doing, 52 or 55, it's obviously going to take longer. Now you might think, well, gee, that's not a lot, and you're right in the big picture, but I want you to go and look and see how many hours you currently have played in the game so far. How many hours do you have in this season alone? The majority of you will have over 17 hours played this season, and you likely have hundreds of hours in the game total. So what makes you think something magic is going to click within the next 17 hours of playtime that's going to get you to 3K? Maybe it realistically is going to take you 4 times that amount, assuming that something clicks with you starting right now that completely voids the reason that you have hundreds of hours put into the game already, but yet you are still only in gold or silver. So let's say you spend 70 hours getting to 3K, and now you want 4K. But now the games are harder, and the players are better, the toxicity is higher. How many hours is it going to take to get from 3K to 4K? But most importantly, is that climb going to be worth it? Why do you want to be a 4K player? To prove to yourself you're as good as you believe you are or can be? Okay, but is it worth the time and aggravation? What else in life can you be doing with that time? What other games can you be playing? What other skills can you be developing? Who can you be spending time with in life instead of putting up with Overwatch? Now, if you have goals of being a top Overwatch player because you want to be a streamer and make money and have this be your job, okay, that's totally understandable. But also realize that Overwatch is kind of on a decline in stream viewership, and there's not many streamers right now that are holding on the high viewer amount. Just look at the total viewership numbers here on Twitch. It's 6 p.m. Eastern time, and there's only 13,000 viewers for Overwatch. Apex has 41, World of Warcraft with 100,000, Fortnite with 88,000, Destiny 2 at 34,000, Counter-Strike is still going strong at 54,000, and even Battlegrounds is still somehow more popular with 19. So I think it's really weird but telling that a game with such a hyped up pro scene has such low viewership numbers. You always hear the talk that the game is dying, and while that might be debatable, it's definitely stagnant. And the reasons for this, well, that's a topic for maybe another video, but regardless, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure at this point that the majority of gamers who ever would be interested in playing Overwatch are already playing, or they've already played and quit. Sure, you'll have new players coming in with the release on the Switch, and you'll have new players trickling in each year as younger gamers get old enough to have their parents buy them this kind of game. So these numbers on Twitch, I think, can be reliably viewed as what you can expect going forward. And the question you need to ask yourself as a wannabe streamer is, what do you think you can possibly bring to the table as an Overwatch streamer that isn't already provided by the veteran streamers? What do you honestly feel you're going to end up providing to fight for that share of the viewership base who already have their favorite streamers? Look, just being honest and realistic here, it's going to be an uphill battle. Another thing to consider is that the streamers who bring in the most views are the ones that play pop-off heroes like Widow, McCree, Hanzo, Doomfist. Or it's professional players where people just want to see whatever they play. Nobody really wants to watch someone who mains Mei or something, even at a high rank. Even streamers like Violet, who holds the top 2 spots on North America for support, only has nearly 108,000 total views on Twitch and 5.1 thousand followers. And that's someone that's obviously very skilled and very personable and interactive with their stream, someone who can seemingly play the game on autopilot at a high level while having conversations with their viewers. And that's all they've managed to grow because they play support, and well, they're not ML7. Now look at someone like Kabaji, who excels at DPS heroes. They have almost 300,000 followers with a total of over 10 million views. And he's been playing for a long time and cultivating that viewership. Or of course, there's people like Jane, who people tune into because he does a great job at explaining game theory and teaching people how to get better. But overall, the disappointing and likely reality is that unless you're a prodigy at this game, any hopes of being a full-time Overwatch streamer new to the scene at this point in the game's life are kind of gone. And it's just another factor to consider in the question of, is this all worth it? So that about concludes the video, and again, my main points I hope you take away from this is either be happy where you're at in your rank and just play to play the game, win or lose, and stop stressing so much. Or do some soul searching and just come to grips with the fact that you may not have what it takes to make yourself happy with playing this game. And your time and mental health will be better served by putting your Overwatch competitive experience to rest and move on. Even if you didn't want to shift your time away from video games, there's so many of them out there deserving of your attention that can be just as much or even more enjoyable than Overwatch and much less stressful. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. If you like this content, please consider subscribing so I can reach the 1,000 subscribers needed to monetize the videos. And of course, share this around to anyone you feel could benefit from watching.